Oh my goodness, peacock view, peacock. And we viewing it, y'all. I feel like we've been viewing too much real. We need to see what some creativity is like in life. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? What the creativity? We got this. What we finna do is see my man's right here. He finna build what, some sort of mega fish tank for these goddamn guppies. He got some of these beautiful colored fish. Maybe. At least he call them cool. We got some cool fish, y'all. Some fish dicks. Let's see what they talking about.
This is the Terra Green headquarters. I got the computer where I edit all the videos, a cool shelf.
Okay. Hold on, let's see his streamer set up. See his gamer rig.
This is the Terra Green headquarters. I got the computer where I edit all the videos, a cool shelf for decorations, but I'm Terra Green and there's no animals in here. That's why I'm gonna build a massive mega aquarium right here, completely decked out with thousands of dollars of decorations.
And I'm gonna build a tank up with the absolute coolest fish species. And I'll make sure each fish has some sort of special ability that
this
I'll
nigga get all this bread
by the end of the video. This is gonna be crazy.
So to get started, I rolled this super heavy box over and built everything inside. As you can see,
let's see what egregious expensive money looks like, yeah.
For this massive aquarium tank.
In fact,
I love seeing people waste their money.
If it can hold my dog, it can definitely hold all the cool fish species we're gonna put inside of here.
Now for the build, you already know we're gonna be starting with some aqua soil.
You didn't fill up the water. Let me fill up the water and put your dog in there.
Grow nice and strong. But if you've seen my channel before, you know this soil can make the water extremely dark and dirty.
Hella murky, bro. What you doing putting mud in there?
A bunch of sand. We're gonna give this a nice clean coat on top of the soil, and in order to make it look not so flat, I made this little sand hill in the left corner. But now that we've got about an inch of soil and about 1/4 an inch of sand, we can start getting cool decorations in here. And first up, let's just focus on the wood.
And yeah, I'm Terra Green, so we got some pretty good options for wood. In fact, in this closet, I think we got a lot of wood in here. Shoot, I forgot how much there was in here. This would have been useful for some past videos.
Anyways, I gathered them all up and brought it over to the mega tank. Since the wood will kind of be the base of everything, I really took a bit of time to find the exact pattern, types of wood that I liked most. And after a little while, I ended up deciding on this. I kind of like how all the wood was in this one area, and hopefully by the end, it's all gonna look like tree trunks
they fucking in there.
Water. But for now, I actually have to take the pieces of wood out and throw them in a bathtub.
Now, technically, I don't think we have to do this, but basically the thinking is if we let this soak up a bunch of water inside the wood, when we go and add the water inside of our fish tank, the wood won't just like float to the top, because that's a problem sometimes I have. So yeah, I think I'm just gonna leave this here for a few hours.
After a couple hours, I went and put them back in the tank, added the price to the total, and now it's time to add in some rocks. We're gonna keep it simple, just a couple pretty big gray rocks scattered around that I bought from an aquarium store earlier, and I figured it'd be cool to kind of blend the gray pattern into the sand more, so I used a bunch of these tiny gray pebbles to do that to all the rocks around. And with that, I would say the base decorations of the enclosure are complete. Now we gotta do the DIY decorations.
I think your girlfriend would say that's a mess, a hot mess, but we ain't talking about your girlfriend.
I don't really know why, I just think it'll be cool or something.
Now if you're wondering how I'm gonna do this, well, first of all, I set up a table next to the tank that I could work on, but then I got out this brick and some chisels. Yep, I'm gonna carve this brick into a fish sculpture.
Get to it.
This probably isn't gonna go so well. But quickly before doing that, as you know, I'm gonna be putting the coolest fish species in here that have abilities that are so cool to watch.
Alright.
And to get inspired on what species I should put in, I pulled out my phone to start playing Fishing Clash, which is actually the sponsor of today's video. Basically, Fishing Clash is a competitive mobile fishing game.
It is.
You catch hundreds of different fish species from real world locations.
You know what, y'all?
Like the Amazon.
Go fishing, y'all.
The game never
Fishing
lets
Splash.
you know what's going on with all.
We ain't sponsored by Fishing Splash.
And you can sign up to.
You goddamn it.
This is back to the content. I didn't
Anyway,
watch
back
any
to
tutorial or
non-Fishing
anything.
Splash.
I just got straight to drawing a little pattern on it, and then I got straight to carving. At first, I was just using the back of the hammer, but it wasn't really effective. So I took the chisels out of their package and instead used the hammer to smack the back of it. And basically, I just did that over and over and over and over, very carefully, trying not to break it. I did make one mistake by accidentally breaking off a big piece of the base, but I quickly fixed it up until it was done.
Well, here it is. My first ever statue I sculpted out. And besides a few things I kind of messed up on it, I would say this belongs in the museums besides the greatest works of sculpts of art of ever. But yeah, anyways, let me just put this in right there and boom.
But I still kind of felt like something was missing. So I bought a very important addition. Googly eyes.
There we go. That's what it was missing. If you think I should try building a statue again in a future video, let me know in the comments. And also, let me know what to build. Don't make it too hard.
I want him to build some shit.
Build anything too hard.
Now for the next DIY decoration, let's make make a custom aquarium background. You see, many people add these backdrops which make the back of their aquariums blue, or they can have stone textures, but I want to make my own from scratch. So I got out a big piece of poster paper and cut it to match the size of my tank. Then I got out my coloring kit and got to designing. I started by basically filling in the whole thing in with some blue marker because I sort of liked how the blue looked on some of the pictures I've seen. But from there, I started to use more markers to draw a little sandy area near the bottom, some seaweed aquatic plants coming out of the sand, and finally it needed some animals, so I got the axolotl sticker from the Terra Green Essential Sticker
that gonna look
Pack,
good?
which is available at terragreenstore.com, by the way, and put some of those on there. And finally, I put some of these Terra Green stickers also from the pack on the backdrop.
All right, we're done. Now you might be thinking, Terra Green, this looks like trash. I'm
Yeah.
not subscribing. What are you doing? But there's actually a really good artistic vision behind this. Let me show you guys something.
What we're gonna do is open this ChatGPT app, which is an AI software, and we're basically gonna click the camera button, take a picture of my
Oh, he ain't finna do
beautiful
this.
work of art, and now I just gotta tell it what to do. ChatGPT, I
You
need
finna
to
use
take
Google
this really
Canvas.
cool drawing of an aquarium background that I make and turn it into a super cool realistic image, okay? And then basically I'm just gonna send this message off and I'll show you guys what it sends back.
And here's the final product. It actually looks pretty good. So I sent it to my computer to do some finishing touches, then I uploaded it to a printing website. The only way I could get it printed on a paper big enough for the tank is to order it online. So that's what I
course.
did.
The only thing is, I have to go pick it up tomorrow. So I guess in the
Kinko's.
meantime, let's keep working on the aquarium.
And next up on the list is actually to fill up
You
the
went to
tank with water. Now
Kinko's?
for this build, since it was so big, I actually routed my hose through my window. That way I could just turn on the faucet and it would fill up. And it only took about 15 minutes for it to fully fill up.
Now, I don't actually want to just only fill this up with water, because if I had put a fish in here right now, it would die.
You see, this is because fish poop, obviously. But in aquariums, the poop actually dissolves into the water, which over time, the fish will have to breathe, and obviously, poop water isn't good for the fish. So we need to do something called cycling, which will add bacteria that eats the poop before the fish breathes it. So I added in a couple products that did just that. Then I even sprinkled in a little bit of fish food, which will basically feed the bacteria I just added and make it stronger so it can break down the poop even better. But anyways, I had to wait a whole 12 days.
You gotta
until the
put
cycling was
bacteria
done.
in that joint. I didn't even know you had to
Probably
make it
won't show that every
nasty.
video, but in the meantime, I was able to go and pick up, you know, the backdrop. Yeah, looks pretty good.
So I put that behind the tank, and now I would say we're ready
Like,
for
you just
step
get the
4,
filter and clean
adding
out the
in
goddamn poop.
aquatic plants. So I quickly drove to the store to go buy some.
Okay, I'm at Petco, and I have a feeling I'm about to spend a lot of money. Because if you look over here at the plants, it's $11 for this tiny plant.
Yes!
The medium-sized one is even more. And, well, I need like 50 of these.
So I picked out all the ones I liked and bought them. I even ended up going to another pet store to buy all of their stock. So by the time I got home, I was
Motherfucking
absolutely
coined out
stacked with aquarium.
on little
If you're
shit.
wondering, the total came
Nothing
out
but marijuana
$593
plants for the coin.
Yeah, that's kind of sad. But anyways, let's just get to planting them. Let's go.
First of all, I drained the cycled water into a tub to make it easier to plant. Then I went in and started to put the smaller plants in the front, the medium plants, you know, in the middle, and the large plants in the back, of course. I even had a couple plants left over, so I started to scatter them along the wood to fill up the tank even more. Finally, I filled it back up with water, and by the end, this is what it looks like.
Nigga
And
activated
well, then, I
AI,
would say this is pretty
y'all
good.
forgetting.
Nice job, me. You did a good job building this. And now that the tank is complete, it's time to do the last thing. Stock it with fish. And oh boy, this is gonna be fun. Usually
best
I buy
part,
my fish
y'all.
online, but this time
Fish,
I wanted to
fish.
head to the biggest
Fish,
fish
fish,
store
fish,
in my state.
fish.
That will
We
100%
gonna
have some
get
insane
fish, fish,
species of
fish.
fish.
We
This
gonna
is gonna be like a
fish,
4-hour
fish,
drive,
fish,
so let's
fish.
go. Thankfully, you guys don't have to watch the whole 4 hours
No.
because of the magical power of
No.
editing. But anyways, here's the store.
Okay, well, I made it, but I'm not gonna lie, this place kind of looks small. Was this worth the 4-hour drive?
But when I walked inside, I figured out that this was definitely worth driving 4 hours for. Because
Like
look
this
at
place
this.
now.
They had like 7 of these aisles that were just absolutely stacked.
Tanks
with
look like
different
your
fish
tank,
species.
easily
There were
better.
so many options, and so many of the
Get the fish with
just
the
looked
dick.
so cool, and I wish I could buy them all. But I ended up choosing and buying just 4 different species, which I'm gonna keep a secret.
Was that a crawfish?
Tank.
All right, the goods have been gotten. And if you're wondering, the total came out to $500.
You bought $500 in fish? You ain't gonna eat it?
So I quickly drove the 4 hours back.
All right, now it's time to add in the fish. Now I've got 4 different species that all have some sort
Them
of
fish
unique
gonna get
special
tangled up in all that
ability, but for
dipper.
now, we got the first
Was that a sucker?
species right here.
These are balloon mollies, and I've got 14 of them, which should fill up the tank pretty nicely. And after a little bit, they all swam out the net to start exploring around the tank. Instantly, they all
I wanna
kinda
go back,
swooped
my
up,
brother.
and they seemed like they were having having an amazing time looking around.
Eating
their home.
bacteria.
Now, I did say that every fish I was gonna add has a special ability, and these guys, they have an ability. It's just not that special. You see, mollies like these guys will constantly just swim around the tank, sucking up sand or taking nips at the plants. And the reason they do this is because they're actually able to filter out microscopic little food particles from the sand and the leaves. And yeah, they basically just spend all day swimming around looking for something to eat.
Anyways, fish number 2.
Ain't that what all fish do?
These are hillstream loaches, and yeah, there's 5 of them in here, which
These
you might not
roaches.
even be able to tell. And yeah, they definitely aren't your average fish species, but they're insanely cool. So
This motherfucker got insane. He got.
Instantly, they swam
You
down
had to
the
give your
bottom
fish tank
because these
roaches?
Roaches are bottom dwellers, which means they spend basically all their time just chilling on the floor. But what makes these cool is not only that they look like stingrays with those flaps coming out of
They
the
do
body,
kinda
but
though,
those
I ain't gonna
flaps
lie.
actually have an important purpose.
They're like a little
You see,
sting
hillstream
daddy.
Loaches are able to
Look at the little
suction
baby.
their body to surfaces like the side
Hey,
of
electricity?
glass by pressing their fins down. And this basically lets them just swim
These
along the
robots?
glass and eat up any sort of algae or biofilm that grows there. Technically, these guys can get almost all their food on their own by doing this.
Man, I love these guys. They literally look like little aliens that'll suck your face.
And I like
They're
it.
pretty cool, but the
Oh, I like it. Yeah, he crazy.
These are clouded archerfish, the biggest fish I'm going to be adding. And I've shown archerfish in videos before, but these clouded ones are a bit different and they're going to go well in the tank. But the thing is, right
What's
after
different?
adding them in, the mollies actually kind of started to surround them
What's up,
to
nigga?
inspect their new tank mates. I did carefully watch
beat
this
your
to make
ass,
sure no
cuz.
fights broke out because these archerfish
I'll
can
beat
be
your
slightly
ass, cuz.
aggressive at times. But after
Get
a
his
couple
ass.
minutes, the molly stopped surrounding
he in the wrong hood. This
archerfish
our
and they
tank.
started to swim around. Now you see archerfish basically spend all their time at the top of the water, and they do this for a very special reason. That's because archerfish's special ability is they're able to spit a little stream out of the water into the air, specifically
Hey,
to
y'all.
knock types of bugs into the water so they can eat them. It's absolutely crazy, and I just had to try it with these guys.
So I got
out
these
a cricket
motherfuckers
my
out here
hand
just
and
spitting.
held it above the water. I held it there for a few minutes, and the closest one got was this archerfish, who was just sitting right under my hand. But I guess he couldn't see the cricket moving or anything, because he didn't even try to spit water at it.
You ain't
None
hungry.
of the archerfish are trying to eat this thing right now. But I do actually have a video about a year ago I posted about
So
the
I drowned
7
it.
fish where I actually
What?
showed the archerfish shooting. And as you can see, it's super cool and super satisfying once it actually does. And yeah, they just basically
All
gulp the
missing.
cricket out the water once they landed in. It's very cool. But anyways, now it's time for the 4th and final fish species, which is right here. And in fact, it's
What we got here?
actually not a fish at all.
Ooh, that's a
These are
goddamn.
brine shrimp.
That's a
In
goddamn
fact, they're
anemone.
actually not meant to be kept as pets at all because they actually live in salt water. But many aquarium owners will use these guys as a food source for their fish because they're
Yeah, them
very
shit's an anemone right
so I
there.
just had to try and feed some of my new fishies. So I poured the brine shrimp into a water gun, and yes, I did have to put them inside a water gun. I couldn't find any syringes or anything to.
Oh, he about to
But
bust
anyways,
cap.
I started to just shoot the water gun into the water, and every time I shot it, you
They
could see a
died
few of
because
these little
the-
white specks came out of the stream. These are the brine shrimp. And after I started to shoot the gun a little
Ain't no
closer
way.
to some of the fish, at first you can tell they were kind of scared and probably thought I was trying to attack them or something.
who's shooting,
In fact, it took
cuz?
a couple minutes before I noticed the first fish starting to eat the shrimp. But oh boy, was this fish absolutely loving it. He was just going around gulping up shrimp after shrimp. I guess they're just super tasty to the
I'm
fish.
just hungry.
Over
He
time,
spit it
pretty
back
much
out.
every fish ended up getting their fair share of this food. Well, all the fish have been put into this tank and it's completely built up, so I would call this a major success. My office area already looks so much better, and it's so cool to be
Probably
able to
more
look
noisy
over
and-
right
and-
over
and-
and
and
you can
moist
see
too
all
and
these
humid.
different life forms interacting
God
with
damn
each
it,
other.
right next
Make
to
sure
your
check
computer.
out peregrinestore.com, by the way, guys, if you haven't
What y'all
already.
think?
I recommend.
What y'all think? Did he do a good job? Would y'all have picked those same fish? Or would y'all have picked the piranha and see what really happened? Oh, the first fish was just the, forget the shrimp at the end. The first fish was the shrimp. Because the piranhas come in last. The rest of the fish get to go. Or do piranhas not fuck with fish? They friends. It's just a piranha, dog. He my homeboy. But if you put your finger in here, fuck you. Hey, you know? Hey, like, share, subscribe, you guys. Hey, that was interesting, huh? What? Fuck it. Alright, y'all. I want y'all to have a good one out there. Yeah.